go. Hey guys, welcome back to a Sunday night edition of the Banter Bets and BPL podcast. Here with the old boys, the old heads. A couple of them had some good weeks. We got Brother Keegs, a great week. The XG Prince, the Prince of XG, Brother Keegs. We got Coach Cam, corner kick Coach Cam, and we got Sandy, who has been on a little bit of a run lately, and he keeps it going. I think all three of you guys are positive, eh?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And I myself am negative, had a big old negative week, and now I'm back down below that dotted line there, unfortunately. But why don't I shift it over to you guys then? Brother Keegs, Brighton, huge win against Spurs today. I honestly like watching it because, Brighton are a fun team to watch. What do you got to say?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great game. And I think just about everything that could have gone right for me went right. I mean, I had a bet on Brighton. They pulled through for me. And they also kept a clean sheet, which meant I beat Marco in the Fantasy FA Cup with that clean sheet. So it was pretty amazing job from Brighton. And they didn't just scrape out a win. I think that they dominated and got the wins. So.
Man, you just love those games where everything falls into place. The bets, the player on your fantasy team scores, and you're just like, oh, this is why I watch soccer.
Yeah, and the team you're rooting for as well. So it'll probably be I'll probably get one more of those games for the rest of the season. So I enjoyed it.
Use it wisely. Coach Cam, you yourself busted out of your slump, plus 16 this week. Good on you. Those extra reps are you're making them count.
Exactly. Yeah. Just trying to use as much time as I can on the training ground, trying to find my form on the field. The Newcastle over Everton, that's the one that really paid out. And I just ran with it, and I'm looking to bounce back to back and find form and help this team come out of that negative.
Yeah, I got to give you credit for that one, Coach Cam. I was on Newcastle at a very similar number last week away at Villa, and they just sucked. And I was like, when you made that bet, I was like, what is Cam doing? There's no chance Newcastle get anything from this game. And there you go. So good for you on that one. That's a nice way to start off the weekend, eh?
Yes, it feels good, and I expect to bring that good fortune to the week.
All right, let's do it. And Sandy, a little +2, chipping away at that red number up there.
Chipping away a little bit, yeah. I had a couple throwaway bets. I shouldn't have bet on United. It was a waste of money. I mean, I went against my principles. I've been on this hot streak, not betting big games. I thought United would win, and that was just a throwaway game. But I made my hay on the two teams that I think I probably know better than anyone, at least in Canada, if not the world. Probably Villa and Burnley, my two experts on both these teams. The Villa game was a little painful from a fantasy perspective. I started Southampton's keeper instead of Villa's, lost because of it. Absolute blunder. I think I just forgot some of my lineup, honestly. Che missed a really good chance late. I don't know if you guys saw that. Should have scored. But I'll take the win on that one. And pretty much got me a positive. And the Burnley under. Old reliable.
Yeah. The hottest ticket in sports betting. It's again.
We're riding again this week.
Yeah.
So
we mentioned it a little bit. We started the Fantasy FA Cup this week where we basically just drew additional players in our league. So it's kind of like 2 matchups for the price of 1. I was able to beat my dad. Keegan, you got a win against Marco, you said. And then Coach Cam and Sandy were top 2 in the league, so they had buys. So this is four gentlemen who are going to be in the last what's it going to be? The last
8.
The last 8 of the Fantasy FA Cup. You could be looking and hearing from an Ezard Invitational Division 1 future Fantasy FA Cup champion on this very podcast. And if I had to put my money on it, I would say it's going to be one of us 4.
Well, who else? Who are the other 4 that have won that are through that we have to worry about?
When's the draw?
Is it a random draw again, or how is it working now?
Random draw again, closer to the next week of actual FA Cup games. I know Austin went through.
I guess Mike must have went through if he beat me.
Through.
Yeah.
Pike probably.
No, Pike lost. Pike lost to Austin. I don't know. We'll have to take a look at it, but it was a fun little thing, and looking to keep it rolling. Anyways,
Devin Curry beat Kieran.
There you go. So yeah, it should be a fun one. Oh, and then I'm not sure who went through between Dave and Nate, but
I think Dave.
That's the driver I was looking for in the next round.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck, they should be looking for my team. My team's absolutely hit a little bit of a dip in form of late. But
same with mine, Sandy.
We're trying to fight through.
Hell of a title race going on. But anyways, we'll talk about fantasy on another podcast. This one is absolutely no rest for the banter bets and BPL boys. We've had midweek games and games every weekend. It seems like we've been absolutely grinding. I think this is the third podcast of the week. So we're going to get right into it. Sheffield United at home to West Brom. I'm doing this podcast from my school, actually. So there's Bet365 is banned. So we're not looking at the odds here, but I know Sheffield United is probably a little too much of a favorite in this one. My question for you, Sandy, is Sheffield United versus West Brom. Will the result of this game even matter in the grand scheme of things, or are these two teams both cooked?
These two teams are well done. They are both very well done.
They're not just cooked; they're over.
Yeah, they are very crispy. They're they have no chance of staying up. The only question is who's going to be last at this point. I think Sheffield's dug themselves a little bit of a hole. It'll be I mean, it's tough to say it's a thrilling battle for last place, but it will be interesting to see who can take the cake in that one.
Yeah, it would be. I was looking at the standings today. The gap is large. It would be a great escape if either one of these teams could come out of it. Like, I think they're 8 or 9 points from safe. Well, Sheffield United only has 8 points. I think they're more than 8 or 9 points. I think West Brom's 8 or 9. Sheffield might be like 13, 14. So you just don't see it happening for either of these teams. I have to agree on this one. I think this game is going to be a dead rubber in the grand scheme of things. Brother Keegs, what do you think on this one?
I don't know. I think I don't know. You guys might call me crazy, but I think if Sheffield win this week, it sucks that Newcastle got that win because I think Newcastle deserved to go down. But if Sheffield win this week, Newcastle lose to Crystal Palace,
Pressure's
I think
on.
there's still hope. I think they're only a mid-rare right now.
All right, different.
Sorry, a mid-well. Sorry, I lied. Mid-well.
Mid-well.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Sandy?
I don't know. Like, is West Brom? I haven't been watching West Brom at all. Pereira has been piling up goals and assists. Is he balling out? Like, how's he managing this? Is it just like corners? I keep seeing like random guys pop up with goals. They're just like dominating in corners right now, or what? It's a Big Sam special.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good little player. I don't know. He's just kind of been pissing him in a little bit here or there. Like, West Brom look bad and then score a couple. Like the Wolves game, they were just letting in easy goals. And then they scored a couple somehow. Same with this Fulham game. They're getting dominated. Then they put one in. Yeah. No, I think West Brom really, really are cooked. I agree with Keegan a little bit. I think Sheffield United could maybe start to get a bit of momentum going, but really,
I think if it was any other team in that position, you'd write them off. But I don't know. I still maybe I'm just delusional from last year, but they put their little bit of a fairy tale run. So I think that they still have that the fairy wand in there. Still got a bit of fairy dust.
What I mean,
extra magic.
Yeah, you're definitely a little blinded from last year. I mean, I kind of like how they don't score and they have maybe the worst goalie in the Prem. It's a bad combo.
It's a bad combination.
Yeah, I don't know. I think in the grand scheme of things, not going to be a very important game, and who knows though? Might be the kickstart of something special, Keeks.
Could be an important betting game though. Boy,
could be a prosperous
change
betting
around
game.
that.
Going to move on to Wolves Arsenal, and Coach Cam, are Wolves ever going to score a goal again? When's their next goal coming from? I don't think it's this weekend. Is it the week after? What do you think?
I honestly think their next goal is going to be from a penalty. I think that's the only way they're going to be able to put the ball in the net. It's going to be from a penalty.
So I'm looking ahead at the fixtures here. They play Arsenal, Leicester, Southampton.
God, keep going.
Leeds,
Okay, there you go.
Leeds,
Probably against
surely.
Leeds. Has to be against Leeds, if anything.
Needs the perfect tonic for a low-scoring team.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I don't even see Wolves. I don't even know. I don't even know what they're doing. They lost Jimenez and they all have decided to forget how to play soccer. I don't know what's going on. Because last year it wasn't like Jimenez was the only player that was able to score goals. But I guess they also lost Diogo Jota too, right? So
and Doherty.
Yeah. I guess
Underrated loss.
They lost all their goal scorers. Never mind. Yeah, they have nobody. But did they sign a striker? Oh, fucking William Jose.
Did you guys know was he okay, Cam, or what's the 411?
The 411 is that he was like, I'm trying to think of a striker to compare him to right now.
Marnias?
No, I was gonna push. No, a little higher than that. I'm trying to think like fucking.
Does he play like a traditional Brazilian?
Yeah, he plays like. I was actually gonna compare him to Joelinton. That's what I was thinking of. Like when Joelinton plays striker for Newcastle, and Joelinton's awful. I think William Jose wasn't that good, but he's just like a big, slow striker. Like I don't even know.
Oh, he's a big boy, eh?
Yeah.
Well, big strikers.
So I don't know.
There's been some big slow strikers that have made their name in the Premier League lately, or maybe not lately, but in their time, in its time.
I can actually see William Jose becoming like Solomon Rondon on Newcastle. That's who I was thinking of when I was thinking of.
Well, that's not an insult.
No, I know that's not an insult because he was pretty good, eh?
That's not exciting at all, but got the job done.
That's I think like in due time. I don't think in these next couple of games, but if he works his way, maybe by Leeds, he'll be scoring goals by the Leeds fixture. He'll score a couple and then score a couple more. Who knows?
All right, you guys heard it here first. William Jose to score against Leeds. Get that bet in while you still can.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Manchester United at home to Southampton. I don't know. Sandy Keegan, or I forget who was talking about nil-nils this year, but it seems like there's more. It was Sandy. It seems like there's more nil-nils this year than any other year. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it definitely seems that way. I mean, this is another one of those things similar to the whether or not away teams have more success, where we're not going to crunch numbers. But if one of our faithful listeners wants to look it up, we do have the hypothesis that there is a staggering amount of nil-nils this year, and we're wondering what the reason is. And I think what we come down to is it could be the short rest and teams just not having the energy to go at it, or the lack of fans, and teams just not really being motivated to win games, to chase games. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's probably a mixture of both of those things. I was saying off air there that like if it gets later, like 70th minute or so, and teams just don't usually, especially home teams, they don't feel that push and that pressure from their fans to go out and try and get a winner, and it kind of just, yeah, you're right. Short rest. Maybe they're saying, all right, whatever. We'll take the 0-0. We'll move on to another day, and they're just not feeling that external pressure.
Either way, it's shitty for the fans, shitty for the bettors.
Yeah, it is
shitty for everyone involved. Besides the players, just get to mail it in, a nice 0-0 game.
Yeah.
Cash. Check, please. Check, please. As Biz likes to say.
Yeah, I will be to tease a little bit. I'm going to be debuting a new betting strategy this week, and hoping to take advantage of some of those nil-nils because I see maybe a couple on the cards this week. Coach Cam, I'm going to go to you for this one. How did you know Newcastle was going to win against Everton? Because for the life of me, I was trying to think why on earth Cam is making this bet, and they did. How did you know?
It was more so playing off a hunch more than 100% they were going to win. It was more of they played so poorly against Villa that they had to play well against Everton. And Everton played so well the fixture before that they had to play poorly. Like they're both not going to be, I think they're both unreliable. Like Everton, we've all seen start off well now, then started kind of that downward trend. Newcastle unreliable as well. And I also, something clicked when Keegan mentioned the fact that Alan St. Maximin is one of their better players besides Callum Wilson, and he got subbed in that game week. I thought maybe he's going to be coming in to play some more minutes, and when he comes in, there's always a higher chance of them producing and winning. So putting all those together, I said, fuck it, let's throw some money on Newcastle.
I don't mind what you say there, Cam. Like, I don't mind the idea of betting on the team who looked the worst the week before and betting against the team who looked the best, because you know you're going to get a good number, and a number that might be slightly inflated a little bit due to recency bias. So maybe that's something to look at going forward.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. With this, so we've got two generally boring teams with an exciting player each side in St. Maximin and Zaha. Do you think, Keegan, do you think that's enough to spice this game up, those two players? Or is it the fact that it's Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Steve Bruce versus Roy Hodgson? Is that way too much for the two simple men, St. Maximin and Zaha, to overcome?
I don't know. It'll be tough for them every time they get the ball. I imagine there'll be a couple 3-on-1s, like 1-on-3 scenarios. But hey, they've been known to create something in those situations. So I don't know. I can't decide if it's games that both of them would have circled as something that they can get. They can get something from this game, so they might both go for it a little bit, or if they're both just going to play how they normally play, and it's going to be a pretty poor game. But either way, I'll be tuning into United Southampton at that time.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that either of these managers circle games with and put a note that like must win. I think it's more of a must not lose when these guys are circling games.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, either way, we'll see what happens with that one to round out Tuesday. All right, moving on to Wednesday. We got Burnley, Man City. Sandy, I know you were on Burnley this week. I was on Burnley as well against Chelsea. They let us down a little bit. I don't know. Any thoughts on that game or this game moving forward?
Yeah, I didn't get to catch any of that game. It was way too early. It was the 4 a.m. one out here. So I woke up and saw 2-0 under cash. So I was happy with that. But I really have no idea what happened in that game. So I'm not going to really comment on it. I'm just going to instead look ahead to this current game. And it's kind of like we've talked about in the past. This is the kryptonite for Burnley, where they tend to get rolled by City and just not, they don't even show up really. They're all looking ahead for the weekend. I wonder if we can look ahead to their weekend game is. Maybe they got that one circled. They're not even thinking about this game.
Let's see. Looking ahead, they got Brighton at home this weekend. So
yeah, they definitely got their eyes on that one as a winnable one. So this could be an ugly fixture. With that being said, I don't really like the state of City on current form with what they're doing. So I'm gonna ride again this week with the under and take my medicine.
That's really brave of you. I was gonna recommend the Man City alternate line. Coming off a lowly 1-0 win against Sheffield, I think they could be out for blood a bit in this one. And Burnley traditionally does not fare well in this fixture. Coach Cam, is this a massacre or is this close?
This is the same thing I was thinking about. The same logic with the Newcastle. I'm thinking, City only scored 1 goal last game, so yeah, I'm looking at the alternate over 4.5 goals for City. I might even bet it if I'm feeling a little adventurous. I'm going to bet it because they're my favorite team, and I strongly believe that they can score some goals. So, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Can they score the goal? I don't know. I didn't watch this week. I just heard they weren't even really trying to score. Maybe they were just kind of using it as a rest game.
I know Stones, Cancelo, Sterling, Mahrez all didn't play, so
rest game so they can come out strong against Burnley.
Yeah, you guys are kind of scaring me a little bit here, but maybe I'm gonna stick my guns. I don't know.
Yeah. Fair enough. All right, moving along, we got Fulham, Leicester, and Brother Keegs. Oh, Leicester is tough to predict. It's like they win when they shouldn't, or like a tough game. They stayed in it, played really well against Everton, and then flat against Leeds, got run off the park. if you remember last time they played Fulham, they were at home. They were coming off another good performance, and then they were flat and lost 2-0 at home to Fulham. Is Leicester a top 4 team in your mind? I know we've discussed this a little bit, but are they a top 4 team? End of the day, are we starting to see that regression to the mean, kind of following the pattern of last season, then when they started on fire and fell off?
Yeah, I agree, and I think they're falling off a little bit, and they'll obviously do well to get Vardy back as soon as possible. I'm not really too sure what the situation is there, how long he's out for, but I mean, yeah, I think they're definitely going to regress again, and I'm not sure if I were to bet. Well, at the start of the season, I bet to win outside of the top 6. I was going with Everton, but I mean, West Ham and Aston Villa have been looking good, so really excited for that game. But I don't know. I actually think that if I were to bet right now on to win outside the top 6, I'd probably put my money on Villa, to be honest with you. So I think they've looked good. I don't know. Sandy's the master, but
yeah, I don't know. Coach Cam is full. Like, we think Fulham and Sheffield are done, or sorry, West Brom and Sheffield are done. The gap is there between Fulham and the next team, which I think is Brighton. We're coming off a good win there. Is Fulham done as well? Like, is this relegation battle going to be over before it even started?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think that I disagree with what Keegan was talking about earlier with Sheffield. I think Sheffield's done. This is a big game for them, but I don't know. I just think there's not enough for them to come back up. Not enough in their team and in the fixtures. But I think Fulham still has a chance. And I think this is a pretty good start too, if they're able to get a point or get a result from a struggling Leicester City.
Yeah, regardless of what happened, well, maybe not regardless, but even Fulham's already impressed me a lot more than they did last time they were in the league. Last time they were a mess, unorganized, spent way too much money, and went straight back down. I feel like they've actually got a bit of a sustainable plan this time. Even if they go down, I think Parker's a good manager. They've got some of the cancer out of their squad. So I think they might be a solid bet to come back up next season even if they do go down. All right, moving on. We got Leeds at home to Everton. Leeds, they win when you don't expect them to. They lose when you don't expect them to. This is an impossible team to bet. Sandy, is this too easy to bet Everton away? Or what do you think? Does Leeds pull the wool over our eyes again?
Yeah, I think it's just screaming out to bet Everton, and I think you got to ride with it. You got to, don't bet someone we haven't said in a while, but we do like to preach this. Don't bet the team, bet the number. And the number here is hard to believe, really.
Yeah. Everton's what, 2.87 away at Leeds?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Especially with Leeds coming off a win, just kind of screams out for an Everton bounce back. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Stars are lining up for this one.
Yeah, this is what we were talking about, Cam. This is one of the worst performing teams of the past game week going up against one of the best. And the bookies absolutely love that recency bias. So I think this is where you profit off Everton.
Yeah, I'm probably going to put 25 on Everton.
Big guns. All right, love to hear it. Keegan, what do you got on this one?
Well, I don't know. I just kind of disagree with you a little bit there. You said it's impossible to bet Leeds. I think it's pretty simple strategy when betting Leeds. When they're the underdog, you bet for them. When they're the favorite, you bet against them, and you have probably make some decent money doing that. And I think it's something we all should do a little bit more. With that being said, I'm pretty pissed that Cam just said he's putting 25 on Everton. Makes me second guess it because this pod doesn't tend to do so well when we all are on the same side.
Yeah, that's true. How many times have we been like, oh, come on, guys, this is easy. And then it's like a 0-0 or a draw. And we don't get the win. The team we bet on looks bad. And we all get murdered.
That is true. Maybe I won't put 25. I'll put a little less than that. So when Leeds strikes.
These times we're going to feast all together, though.
Yeah, no, that's actually not. If you guys, consensus right here. If you guys would have bet Leeds, I'll roll with
25, but
I'll roll with Everton. If you guys roll, I'll roll.
I'll ride with Everton, Cam. I'll ride with you.
Okay, I'm riding.
Ride with you into the gates of Goodison, or the gates of Elland Road.
Good. Hopefully they can feed us.
I'll ride with you. We'll go burn down Marco Belisma's, Marcel Wizards, whatever his name is, little tiny little apartment. Shouldn't take more than a couple little
And
matches.
Patrick Bamford has dead leg, so he might not even play this game. They might rest him for the weekend. So they're not gonna have that many good chances to score.
All right.
That was some-
Moving on. We've got
that
a
was
fun
some-
little matchup here. Aston Villa at West Ham. We used the term last midweek, Keegan. We had a midweek frisk off that did not get very frisky between Fulham and Brighton. Is this a midweek frisk off that gets a little friskier, Aston Villa and West Ham? Two frisky underdogs going at it?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is a frisky team, and both of them are doing quite well. So I think this is kind of, it kind of feels like one of those games where we're gonna kind of find out which one of these teams is a pretender. They both have kind of pretender material written all over them. So I think we're gonna kind of find their true colors here. So I mean, based on what I said earlier, I'm hoping that Aston Villa proves that they're not the pretender in this game. But I think there's a good slate of games on that day. So good thing I have no class.
Yeah. Yeah, fun one for sure. I agree totally, Keegan. And I love those games where it's like, okay, this is actually a big game and this one kind of means something. I feel like this is the opposite of up here, Sheffield, West Brom, where it's kind of like, I think that one means nothing. This game actually, I think, is where you throw down the marker and you say, one of these teams is going to say, okay, we're legit. We're pushing for Europa League, top 7, which I think is the ceiling. I don't think it's Champions League for any of these teams, obviously, right?
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Why don't we throw it right along? We got Liverpool at home to Brighton. I was really impressed with Liverpool's win today over West Ham. I thought West Ham, Liverpool's 11 was a skeleton 11, basically. West Ham's been playing really well. West Ham's at home. Liverpool been struggling to score goals all month of January. And Salah, it was a Salah masterclass, really. Both his goals were fantastic. Yeah, like it's just, honestly, I feel like Salah's underappreciated sometimes. Everyone's so quick to be like, oh, Firmino's the real glue that holds that front three together, or oh, Mane's been better than Salah the past 2 seasons. I really think it's Salah, and I think it's not even much of a debate. Coach Cam, what do you think? Is it possible that Mo Salah is underappreciated?
I
Crazy.
don't know. That's a tough question because I believe that his fans give him, the Liverpool fans give him love, a lot of love all the time. Especially, I was watching the game today and the announcers were talking about how awful after the first half, how awful Shaqiri was and how awful Riggy was. And they're like, it's Mo Salah. Like Mo Salah is the only player that they can rely on. And I was like, that's true. Like they just feed him love. In terms of other fans, like, I don't know. I think that he's appreciated. I think that he's a right amount of appreciation is given to him.
My second question is, are you regretting trading me Trossard yet?
Not yet. Only because of the fact that Riyad Mahrez ended up putting up 12 points for me last week, so it's almost evening itself out. I think in the future weeks we'll really find out who's winning and losing the trades if Riyad Mahrez plays and doesn't, and if Trossard contributes or doesn't. So
fair enough.
Well, if you're looking to get rid of Trossard, Liam, I'll queue up an offer.
No, I got so much swagger. I wanted him in the draft, and I finally have him. I like owning that guy.
I honestly, Liam, I didn't even draft him, and I forget how I even received him. He just appeared on my team one day. Nate. Who the fuck? Oh, I gave Nate Mitrovic for Leandro Trossard. Jeez.
Nate's having a tough year, I tell you. Although Mitrovic looked a little bit better this week. I'll give him that.
Got an assist, didn't he?
Yeah, got an assist. Didn't look as slow as Dad when he was moving around out there. So
he's the kind of guy, if he's playing, he'll probably do a little bit, but I don't know. Just he's not very good in the modern game.
Guy that just strikes you as a guy who never really has his manager's trust.
Yeah.
All right. let's go to Thursday, the lone Thursday game. Just like last week, it's Spurs in a big game playing against Chelsea. Sandy, what do you think? If Chelsea turned the corner with Tuchel, I think it was I'm giving him credit for their win against Burnley today. I thought it was a little bit of it was harder than the fixture appeared at a glance. I know we were on Burnley. Do you think they're turning the corner and can take advantage of a Spurs team, which has looked horrendous here?
I don't know, man. I still want to see a little more. I want to hear a little bit more about what's going on in the locker room, whether or not these players were basically just sabotaging Frank Lampard, or whether or not it's actually more of a systemic problem, where these players are legit babies and just won't ever deliver anything. So I'm not convinced with this crop of players, but yeah, I mean, anyone against Burnley, against Burnley, it's a good day. It's a good day for your squad. So, yeah, I'm not convinced though. And I just want to revisit the 4th Champions League spot. That's like wide open. I'm just looking at the table here. Like, none of these teams are good, really. Like Spurs, Chelsea, Leicester, West Ham, Everton, Villa. Someone's got to take it.
Oftentimes, I find in most years for that 4th Champions League spot, it's who can mess up the least by the end of the season.
Yeah.
Because teams like last season, Chelsea had it, was unreliable, lost games. Leicester, of course, was not reliable, and United ended up sneaking in and finished strong. Brother Keegs, you got something on this game?
Yeah, just to touch on Chelsea a little bit. I don't know. I'm still not convinced. They're like, the chances are still falling to Werner. He's still not scoring them.
Are you saying
I don't know. I think
continue to bank on both your fullbacks to be scoring every game?
that's exactly the point that I was going to make. It's not, you can't bank on 2 defenders scoring their goals. I mean, but that being said, when you play Marcus, if you're going to bank on a defender to score, Marcus Alonso is probably the guy. He scored a brilliant goal.
Yeah.
But I mean, that being said, when you play him, you obviously leave yourself exposed a little bit. So I don't know. Well, I'll be convinced. Like, I don't know. I still think Chelsea's not in a bad spot. Like you mentioned, they're still in a shout for that 4th spot, and I think they can do it as long as their attackers start scoring goals. And I think that's really what it comes down to. So I don't know. I think this will be another big game as well. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I feel like with Marcos Alonso, he's one of those volatile players in terms of performances. Like, he's either, just based on the Chelsea fans' reaction, he's either scoring a goal and dominating the left side of the game, or he's just doing absolutely nothing and lazy, not tracking back, and he's a defender. And like, I feel like he's got the whole range from 0 to 10 on any given day.
Yeah, and it'll be a good matchup on that flank with him and Aurier.
Yeah, geez. 2 defenders who hate defending.
2 idiots as well.
Yeah.
2 stupid.
So Coach Cam is the resident forward on the pod. Harry Kane's gone down. Do you think the way forward is with Vinicius up front and Son and Ndombele, whoever else, maybe a Bale, who looked horrible today, or a Bergwijn hovering around him? Or is it push Son up front and play him as the striker and bring in a Bale? Or is it Dorsey? Because they tried the two options today and didn't look really good during either, I should say. What do you think the way going forward for them until Kane?
I think that in this game, I think you should give Vinicius a chance to start striker. He has not started a game yet. He has not played more than 30 minutes in one match. It was easy to criticize how poorly Bale played today and the fact that Son played through the middle for the majority of the match, and it wasn't working out. I think Son strives on feasting off the poor abilities of fullbacks, like Alonso, for example. And I think you need to give Vinicius a chance, just running through the middle, at least one game. And then if you ask me the same question on the weekend, after I see Carlos Vinicius playing through the middle for more than 20 minutes, then I'll probably give you a better answer.
Last thing before we do our bets, anyone have a token January loan signing that can be linked with Spurs, like a Mandzukic or something? to save them.
Edin Dzeko was linked to
Dzeko.
And then
West
Dzeko.
Ham. But West Ham got Lingard, so maybe they're content.
They bring in and the pundits would be saying, well, he scored goals in this league. He knows the league. He knows his way to the net. That type of guy. I feel, Mandzukic, Dzeko would be the exact type of person for that.
Negredo.
Comes back.
He has not scored goals in this league, though. That's the problem.
No, he doesn't. That's the only problem.
They could grab Demba Ba from Istanbul. That would be another one.
An absolute class, a legend, Demba Ba.
What's Papi Cisse up to these days?
It'd be nice to have him come back.
I think he also plays in the Turkish league. Not sure
He
though.
probably does, yeah.
But what a disappointing transfer window we've seen. My God.
Who was the best transfer this January?
I can't think of one transfer other than
Odegaard?
Diallo.
Odegaard?
I guess Lingard, because you just mentioned it.
Well, Lingard,
Snodgrass.
Snodgrass. Did Craig Dawson come in January?
He
No.
just started playing.
But
I thought he was on Watford. Whatever.
Boys, keep it a little bit shorter today. That was a fun little discussion, straight into the point. Let's start things off by hearing the bets. Brother Keegs, you were first last week. Let's hear your bets first.
sure. We're gonna go Arsenal against Wolves. Two teams trending in the opposite directions. We're gonna go Leicester against Fulham. Hopefully a bounce back for Leicester. And then I think there's a lot of value with Everton this week, so I feel like I'm gonna get burned on. I'm probably gonna get burned here, but I got Everton or draw and parlayed with draw or Newcastle as well. So hopefully neither one of those teams lose. Then I got Everton to win and both teams to score, because if you're betting a Leeds game, you might as well put both teams to score, because it typically happens. And then I think there's a bit of value with West Ham. I think in a game like that, you just got to go with the underdog there again. And then I got under Tottenham, Chelsea. Tottenham typically goes under. I think their game against Liverpool is probably the only Big Six game that didn't go under. So I think there's value there. So that's all I got.
Very nice. Hopefully keep you a good run going. Coach Cam, what do you got?
Oh, well, we're going to start up here. So I have, let's see. So I put $10 on West Brom to beat Sheffield. I think that this is exactly what we were talking about. Sheffield had the good fixture against United and won. Then they only conceded once against City. And now they're the favorites in this game. And every time I watch them, I want to throw up. So I'm going to put $10 on West Brom to win. I have Southampton beating United as well. I think they're going to be doing something similar, Southampton, to what he did against Liverpool when they won 1-0. So I have a 2-team parlay. I have Mikel Antonio to score against Villa. And then I also bet the alternative total goals in the City game to over 4.5. I parlayed both those together. I have a draw against Tottenham and Chelsea as well. Put $5 on that. And then I'm betting Everton right now, but I want to ask the boys. We have $0 to $25. I'm willing to put 25 max, $1 being the least. What do you guys think should be the amount on Everton, just straight up to win?
Well, if Everton don't win, I don't want to be the one that suffers the most. So I'd say 25.
Okay.
I'd say 20.
$20. Okay.
I think 25. I think we pile on Everton this week.
Yeah, I think honestly.
This is our feast week, boys. This is our feast week. I think we're all having similar bets here. I think this is where we gotta make it happen here.
Yeah, I'm with Sandy. I'm gonna throw in. I was gonna parlay Leicester Everton, but I don't want to do too much. We're just gonna go straight Everton, $25, please. Also, as we were talking, because I was kind of looking through the numbers, I just remember this. We were talking about how it was 2.87 on my phone. Okay, the entire time we were talking about Everton, I just clicked it like 5 minutes after when we were talking about the next game, and it went down to 2.75, which means they're listening to us, which also means if you're out there, right when this video goes up, this pod goes up, you fucking bet Everton right away, because tomorrow maybe they're fucking 1.7. You never know.
They got the FBI wire tapes in your apartment camp.
Yeah, I
They're on
know.
to us.
They're listening right now. Fuck. But anyway, so yeah, put $25 straight up. Let's just feast.
All right. And is that all, Cam?
That is, yeah, that was my last bet.
All right. You love to see it. The boys, it's moving week. It's time to get a move on and get this pod total up into the positives. Sandy, let's hear it.
I just remember talked about our boy PVB last week. Looks like he had a pretty disappointing week.
certainly did.
Disappointing showing for a little bit of a cult legend.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna roll with West Brom or draw 10 for 18. You guys will be happy that you talked me out of the Burnley game, and I was just poking around a little bit. I found City to nil at pretty much even money, so I'm gonna ride that 15 for 28. Seems like a lot better of a bet than the under for like slightly positive. So I'm gonna go with that instead.
I love that bet. I usually bet that every week, but then last week the odds were gone for it, like down. So I might come back to that as well. Good call.
You can piggyback on me. We're feasting this week, boys.
We might as well just all edit our bets.
We're lifting each other up. Just pick
I want the record.
Yeah.
I want the record to know that I piggybacked that bet.
We'll have a conversation about the best like 5 bets, and we'll all hit them and just see where it goes.
Yeah, true.
No, that would be disingenuous to our settings, our format. The way this pod is structured. I'm gonna go Everton for 15. Not quite as big as Cam, but I'm riding big on Everton. I'm also gonna go Leicester for 15. Feel good about the bounce back there, and West Ham still a little 5. I don't like betting against Villa, but I think the value is on West Ham this week. So that's what I got.
All right, very nice. And yeah, no guest this week. Short turnaround, and couldn't get anyone going. So we might have to get a regular rotation going sometime soon, but that's not today. So I'll give mine quickly here. What do we got? I'm looking to bounce back. I was feeling really good about last week. Honestly, that Leicester-Everton parlay, I was so confident in. I was like, this is free money, and neither of them even came close to winning. But we're going back to seeing some away teams with some value. I am doing the classic double chance parlays, West Brom or draw at Sheffield, and Arsenal or draw at Wolves. Wolves and Sheffield don't score goals, so hopefully they don't win no games. And then that's a winner. $10 pays 23. I've got Crystal Palace or draw at Newcastle, and Everton or draw at Leeds. $10 pays 22. I've got West Ham or draw at Villa, and Tottenham or draw at home to Chelsea. $10 pays me 26.92. Confident of winning at least 2 of those 3. And then straight up, I've got West Brom, betting the number on that one. I've got West Brom for 5, Everton for 15. I was going to go 5, but we're feasting this week.
I love that.
So I'm going Everton for 15. We're absolutely making or breaking on that game.
We should Zoom when the game's on. We should all Zoom together.
And I made that bet before, Cam, so I got it at 2.87. So why don't we just all say if we all win, it's at 2.87.
Unfortunately, I didn't actually take them straight up. I took them winner draw in a parlay and win in both teams score. So I'll be getting better odds than all you guys.
So I'm going 15 on that. And then my 2 0-0s, I'm going to bet 0-0 correct scores maybe once a week, especially in games like these. 0-0 Wolves Arsenal and 0-0 Tottenham Chelsea. $5 from the Wolves one pays 42. $5 on the Tottenham Chelsea one pays 55. If one of those hits, then we're looking golden. And the great thing about a 0-0 bet is it's always winning until it isn't.
True.
You're at least winning for like at least 5 seconds. It's winning until it isn't. If you bet 2-2, you're not winning until it is. And even then you might not be winning. But if you bet 0-0, you're winning until it isn't.
It's like betting the under to an extreme extent. It's a great bet to make if you know you're not going to watch the game.
Yeah. 100%.
If you're going to sleep in and wake up and open up your app and pray when it updates that there's no score there.
Exactly.
Yeah, at least your losses are painless.
Mm-hmm.
Dying in your sleep.
Yeah. If You don't have to sweat it out the whole game. If a goal happens, oh, that's it. That's over. You're not getting any last minute goals to ruin your bet. Well, I guess you could actually get a last minute goal to make it 1-0, but so yeah, that didn't really make sense, but you know what I mean.
That's the fucking worst about a 2-0 bet is those last minute garbage goals.
Yeah.
Like if Burnley scores like a 90th minute goal against City this week when they're up like 4-0 or something, backbreakers.
Yeah, that would be.
All right, guys, anything to shout out before we head out?
All I gotta say is that negative at the beginning at what is it, -326?
Yeah, our podcast is in a -325.35.
Yeah. At the end of when we're back, Liam, once Everton wins, once all of us hit, we're gonna be -200. We're gonna be plus 125 as a total pod. I'm gonna say it, speak it into existence right now.
Love it.
Manifestation, boys.
We're making it happen.
I'm confident this week.
Making a move this week on Banter Bets and BPL. I suggest you listeners get on the train with us. This one's coming out in plenty of time. Have it nice and uploaded for you guys to listen on Monday. So yeah, thanks for listening, guys, and best of luck with the bets this week. And congratulations to everyone who moved on in the Fantasy FA Cup. Stay safe and bet even safer. Peace.